Roger Guyett è considerato uno dei più importanti produttori, innovatori e visionari dell'industria digitale. È entrato a far parte della Industrial Light and Magic nel 1994 per lavorare all'animazione di Casper, primo personaggio che coi suoi 40 minuti di animazione 3D apre la strada ai protagonisti artificiali. Ha supervisionato gli effetti visivi per Star Trek di J.J. Abrams e per Cowboy Aliens.
The tough parts. Okay, well initially I thought doing all the alien, there were so many alien shots outside and I was a little concerned about the realism of all of those, but actually the R&D guys did an incredible job with the light, the shading models and the way that the light worked. Those are much easier. But it's always the design things that are tough, more often than not, like the melting gold and the way that it went to the ferrofluid and all of that sort of stuff. I can say these things, but you know, do they really truly make any sense? And when you watch them in the movie, you know, they're kind of hard things to pull off. But it was, you know, it was cool. And big explosions, I mean, those are always hard too. The most commonly used things? Well, certainly Maya and, you know, RenderMan are the most common things. You know, they use ZBrush and a lot of that kind of stuff too. Photoshop is used, you know. There's so many different different softwares that contribute in different ways, you know. Well, in those days, everything, it didn't matter what you did, it was all horribly slow and really painful. And the big thing was that it was difficult to be creative when the technology was sort of getting in the way of making those choices. So, for example, if you were just going to light Casper, just to move the light and light him and do the thing, and you know, it was just really painful. And so now the feedback to the artist, you know, if you're you know, lighting an object, you want kind of an instantaneous feedback. And because computers are so much faster and they're much more clever, the software tools, you can have much more instantaneous feedback. And that's creative, isn't it? So you can go, okay, try this. It's like giving a digital camera to your mother. She can take 10 photographs and one of them's probably going to be good. Unless your mother happens to be a great photographer, in which case they'll all be good, yeah? Well, I don't think there's one thing in particular that really stands out to me. I mean, that's a really, when people ask me that question, I always think, well, I probably should know what it is that's really going on out there, but there are so many different things, and it's not like 10 years ago you would just say, okay, well, people have invented a new lighting model which is going to revolutionize this thing. People are going to do compositing or whatever, and there were much, much bigger changes. You can texture map in 3D or whatever it was, and oh, there's a particle. I mean, even in the days of Twister, we literally were doing these, you know, particle renderers, you know, that were, but at the time were amazing. Now all of that stuff is just easy, you know. So everything moves in a slightly different way now. You know, there's all these different things going on, and they're all just getting a little better, a little better. And a lot of it is driven by the speed of computers, you know. Well, I think the main thing is you want, you know, if you're going to work in visual effects, then you're working in the digital world, and you've got to have some understanding of you know, how that software works, and you've got a fighting chance of doing that. But I would think about the creative ways that you can use that. Maybe you make your own little movie or whatever, or you take a photograph of something, and then you try and build a version of that thing and light it to match it, and pay attention to all the things in the world that, you know, make a difference to that. If it's the lighting or, you know, the texture of objects. And you know, Dennis Muren, who's one of the great visual effects supervisors of all time, is always talking about how you, as you walk around, you take in the world. You know, you look at the way that things work, the way the shadows are created, and this is slightly more metallic and this is more matte, and you know, and look at the way that those things work. And it's a really interesting thing to do, just observe how things, you know, how the real world reacts.